Titanoboa shouldn't have existed. In 2009, inside a blazing coal mine in Colombia, researchers were digging through rock layers from a rainforest, nearly 60 million years old. This was a world that formed not long after the dinosaurs disappeared. They expected the fossil to be plants, fish, turtles, maybe crocodilian remains. Instead, they found something that made no sense. A vertebra. Enormous. Thick. Far too large for any normal snake. At first, the obvious guess was crocodile. Ancient swamps were full of giant reptiles, and oversized bones in tropical Paleocene rock usually point in that direction. But these bones were shaped wrong. The curves didn't match crocodiles. The structure didn't fit anything with legs. Then came the real answer. These were snake bones, and not just any snake. They belonged to Titanoboa, the largest snake ever discovered. Everyone knows Titanoboa was huge. That part gets repeated constantly, but most people still misunderstand what made it special. Titanoboa was not simply an oversized anaconda. It was the result of an Earth so hot, so wet, and so biologically extreme that nature briefly allowed a snake to become something close to myth. And even today, two questions still define the mystery. How did a snake grow this large? And why has nothing like it appeared again? To understand Titanoboa, compare it to the biggest snakes alive now. Modern giants like the green anaconda and reticulated python already seem unbelievable. Anacondas can exceed 20 feet. Reticulated pythons can grow even longer. Both can weigh hundreds of pounds and overpower prey many times their own size. For most ecosystems, that is already enough snake. Titanoboa likely reached 42 to 47 feet, with some estimates pushing higher. Weight estimates often range around 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. That is longer than many city buses, heavier than a horse, thicker than some tree trunks. This wasn't just a large reptile, it was a moving environmental hazard. So how does something like that happen? The answer begins with temperature. Snakes are ectothermic, which means they depend on outside heat to run their bodies efficiently. Unlike mammals, they do not generate large amounts of internal body heat to stay active. Their environment controls almost everything: how fast they move, how quickly they digest food, how often they hunt, how rapidly they grow, and even how large they can realistically become. In Titanoboa's time, that outside heat was extreme. Scientists estimate parts of its Paleocene rainforest habitat may have averaged around 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, year-round, with heavy humidity that made the air feel even hotter. There were likely no cool winters, little seasonal relief, and warm nights that barely dropped in temperature. Imagine a tropical rainforest functioning like a permanent greenhouse, where the heat never truly shuts off. For a giant cold-blooded predator, those conditions were almost ideal, keeping muscles warm, digestion fast, and metabolism active enough to support a body far larger than most snakes alive today. Warmer environments mean faster digestion, more activity, stronger metabolism, and greater potential size. Cooler climates place limits on how big a snake can realistically become. Titanoboa lived in a world with almost none of those limits. Around 58 million years ago, Earth was in the Paleocene epoch. The planet was significantly hotter than today. Polar ice caps were absent. Tropical conditions stretched farther across the globe. Rainforests steamed under constant humidity. In northern South America, where Titanoboa lived, average temperatures may have hovered around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius, year-round. Imagine a rainforest that barely cools off, even at night, even in rain, just endless heat. For a giant cold-blooded predator, that is premium fuel. But heat alone doesn't build monsters. You still need food. And Titanoboa's world was full of it. The fossil site where it was found also contains giant turtles, large fish, crocodilian relatives, and dense rainforest life. This wasn't a peaceful swamp. It was a packed ecosystem where something enormous could actually find enough calories to survive. That matters because giant predators often fail for one reason: they cannot eat enough. Titanoboa apparently could. Now here's where many people imagine it wrong. They picture Titanoboa racing through jungle paths, chasing prey like some horror movie serpent. That likely isn't how it lived. At that size, land movement becomes expensive. Dragging thousands of pounds across mud and roots wastes energy. But in water, everything changes. Water supports mass, reduces friction, hides movement, makes a giant body almost weightless. Many scientists think Titanoboa was heavily aquatic or semi-aquatic, which means it may have hunted less like a python and more like an ambushed crocodile made of muscle. Picture dark swamp water. No ripples, no warning. Then two eyes just above the surface. A turtle drifts too close. A crocodilian enters the shallows. Something steps to drink. Then the water detonates. That is likely how Titanoboa won. Not by long chases, by patience, by camouflage, by 1 sudden second. Its bite would have been serious, but constriction may have been even worse. Modern boas and pythons don't usually crush bones the way movies show. They often stop blood flow and breathing rapidly by wrapping prey. Titanoboa, scaled to impossible size, would have turned that strategy into a nightmare. When thousands of pounds of muscle begin coiling around you, it no longer matters whether the exact cause is pressure, circulation to failure, or suffocation. The result is the same. You are not escaping. And in water, escape gets even harder. No footing, no traction, no clean direction to run. Just panic. So if Titanoboa was so perfectly adapted, why did it vanish? Because it was adapted to one version of Earth. And Earth changed. Over millions of years, the planet cooled. Climate patterns shifted, wetlands changed, rainforests reorganized, food webs transformed. For mammals, birds, and many adaptable animals, this opened opportunities. For giant ectothermic specialists, it created problems. When temperatures drop, snakes slow down. Digestion slows, movement slows, growth slows, reproduction slows. Now imagine all of that happening to a predator the size of a bus. A few degrees matters. For Titanoboa, a cooler world may have been catastrophic. Its prey likely changed too. Large turtles and ancient crocodilians declined or evolved into different forms. Ecosystems became less favorable to the exact hunting style Titanoboa depended on. And giant size comes with permanent bills. You need more food. You mature more slowly. You recover from injury more slowly. You need stable habitat. Once those advantages disappear, giant bodies become liabilities. Titanoboa may not have been defeated by another predator. It may have been defeated by math. Calories in, calories out. Temperature up, temperature down. Sometimes extinction is that simple. What makes Titanoboa so fascinating is that it reveals how flexible nature really is. People think today's world is normal. It isn't. It is just current. Earth has gone through eras where dragonflies had giant wingspans, marine reptiles ruled oceans, mammals were tiny, and snakes became river-sized predators. Titanoboa is proof that if you change the environment enough, you change what life can become. And despite the fear factor, Titanoboa probably wasn't invincible. Young individuals would have been vulnerable. Adults still risk injury. Large animals can starve. Disease matters, drought matters. Even apex predators live close to the edge. Nature rarely builds perfect creatures. It builds trade-offs. Titanoboa gained unmatched size. In return, it needed heat, water, prey, and stability. Take enough of those away, and the giant disappears. That may explain why no modern snake replaces it. Today's anacondas are powerful. Modern pythons are impressive. But the exact world that built Titanoboa no longer exists. No endless Paleocene greenhouse swamps. No same prey network, no same climate engine. Without the original stage, the performance does not repeat, which leads to the internet question everyone asks. Could Titanoboa still be hiding somewhere remote? Realistically, no. A predator that large would leave evidence: tracks, shed skin, kills, reliable sightings, breeding populations. Large predators shape ecosystems. They do not vanish cleanly into rumor. What survives today is not Titanoboa itself. It is the idea of Titanoboa. And that idea is powerful for a reason. because snakes already trigger something ancient in the mammal brain. Now imagine that shape scaled to impossible size, a head rising from black water, a body so long you cannot see where it ends, muscles moving beneath the surface like shifting logs. That image stays with people, and maybe that is why Titanoboa still matters, not because it was merely the largest snake, but because it reminds us that nature does not care what seems believable. Given enough heat, enough prey, and enough time, the world can create things that sound exaggerated, and yet were completely real. For a brief moment after the dinosaurs died, the rivers belonged to something else. Not crocodiles, not mammals, a snake so massive that modern Earth no longer seems capable of creating it. And unless this planet shifts back into the kind of brutal heat and ancient conditions that once made giants possible, we may never see anything like it again.